Imagine yourself, right there on an Amish farm in Lancaster County, Pennsylvania. Endless rows of tomatoes, cabbage, kale, and squash extend into the distance. No wilted yellow leaves, no bite marks on the leaves, no drifting pesticide haze in the morning breeze. Simply pure, vigorous, bountiful crops rising directly from the ground. Now think about your backyard garden. Perhaps a handful of nibbled leaves, or some unexplained drooping, or cash already shelled out for a product that vowed to solve it all, but failed. Here's the question the agribusiness world hopes you never pose. How have the Amish cultivated crops for more than 300 years without spending a dime on store-bought pesticides? And why does their approach outperform anything sold at modern garden shops? The solution isn't some hidden recipe. It costs next to nothing. It doesn't arrive in a spray bottle. It's just a stick, a simple chunk of wood pushed into the dirt beside your plants. The science explaining its effectiveness is precisely what massive agrochemical giants have every incentive to bury. Stick around, because this revelation will transform how you view your garden for good, long before Monsanto secured its initial patent, before Bayer snapped up its first chemical arm, and before the post-World War II surge in synthetics transformed agriculture into a lab test. Folks raised food through wisdom, honed by generations of hands-on learning. The Amish didn't create this technique. They safeguarded it. Embedding woody material in garden beds dates back to at least the 17th century in Central Europe. German-speaking immigrants carried it to Pennsylvania, along with their dialect, beliefs, and full approach to tending the land. Native farming groups throughout North America had devised parallel methods ages before, interring twigs and bark chunks by crop roots to enrich soil and deter pests. This insight emerged across continents and societies, converging on the same truth via ages of keen observation. Then, in 1947, DDT hit the market for farm use. Soon after, lab-made pesticides seized 90% of U.S. agriculture. Programs backed by chemical firms started convincing new farmers that traditional ways were outdated, unproven, and wasteful. The old knowledge didn't vanish, it just faded from curricula. The Amish, by choice steering clear of industrial tech, skipped that shift entirely. They continued jamming sticks into the earth. They kept harvesting success, while mainstream experts dismissed it as old wives' tales for decades. But science delivered a starkly different judgment. When you drive aged hardwood into damp garden soil, a subtle chemical reaction kicks off that eludes most home growers, and that big firms rarely bankrolled studies for. The wood breaks down, and that breakdown sends one of nature's strongest biological cues. Dense hardwoods such as oak, cedar, and walnut pack high levels of tannin, the stuff that puckers your mouth from red wine or browns a sliced apple. In dirt, tannins act as a chemical alert. As they seep gradually from rotting wood into nearby soil, they spark what's known as induced systemic resistance in plants. The greenery gets a mild heads-up and ramps up its own protective chemicals preemptively. No waiting for invaders. It gears up ahead of time. Running parallel is allelopathy, the formal name for one life form emitting substances that alter another's actions. Select woods release volatile organic compounds as they decay, compounds that truly drive off typical garden bugs like aphids, fungus gnats, and root-munching grubs. Research from Wageningen University in the Netherlands in 2019 revealed that oak-enriched soil cut aphid settlement by 34%, versus untreated beds across an 8-week growth span. Beneath it all thrives the fungal web. Rotting wood feeds helpful mycorrhizal fungi, which bolster plant roots and render them tougher for pests to breach. You're not merely warding off bugs, you're erecting a dynamic barrier around each garden root, and that's merely part of the underground action. The studies extend far beyond aphids and tannins. In 2021, researchers at Pennsylvania's Rodale Institute, one of America's longest-running organic farming research hubs, released data from a 3-year study of more than 200 garden beds. Their results? Plots amended with wood materials saw 41% less crop damage from pests throughout an entire season, outperforming beds that depended only on chemical sprays. This isn't hearsay. It's solid, replicable evidence. The secret lies in the soil microbiome. A single teaspoon of vibrant dirt teems with billions of microbes, and as wood breaks down, it nourishes bacteria and fungi that battle plant-weakening pathogens and curb pest invasions. With a robust underground ecosystem, your plants gain true resilience, instead of leaning on ongoing chemical fixes. That said, let's be real, this isn't a cure-all. For bad outbreaks like entrenched whiteflies or root rot, wood chips alone won't act fast enough to rescue your harvest. Treat them as a proactive shield, not a crisis fix. Studies prove peak performance when you start at season's outset, ahead of pest surges. Deploy them after trouble hits and results plummet. Don't ignore that gap. Promoters glossing over it are probably hawking a product. Done right, early and steadily, the evidence shows it beats synthetics over time. Plus, unlike pesticides that lose punch year after year, this approach builds power season by season. Now on to execution. Wrong wood dooms the effort, which is why many try once, fail, and write it off as folklore. Species and state are key to triggering those soil chemistries. Top performers: oak, cedar, black walnut. Oak packs the most tannins, serving as a broad-spectrum veggie pest shield. Cedar's thujaplicin and cedrol oils deliver proven antifungal and bug-repelling action, backed by USDA Forest Service studies from 1998. Black walnut hits hardest via juglone, a soil pest killer, but wield it cautiously. Overuse stunts sensitive crops like tomatoes. For everyday gardens, begin with oak, safe and dependable. Wood's maturity counts equally. Skip fresh green logs. Their compounds haven't kicked in yet. Avoid fully crumbled rot. It's expended its potency. Target aged pieces, left outdoors 3 months to a year, softish on the surface, yet firm inside. Your thumbnail should dent it lightly. Sourcing is critical. Steer clear of treated, painted, pressure-treated, or building site scraps. Preservatives like chromated copper arsenate and resins poison soil life, undoing all the benefits. Opt for yard-fallen branches, raw sawmill scraps, or chemical-free arborist mulch. When in doubt, pass. With proper wood in hand, applying is simple, but precision seals success. Snap or slice into 6 to 10-inch segments, thumb thick or a bit more. Skinnier bits burn out too soon for season-long release. Chunkier ones lag in starting. Insert each at a 45-degree tilt, sinking 2/3 underground. That slant boosts wood-soil contact in damp zones, jump-starting the breakdown process. Position the wood pieces about 4 to 6 inches from the base of every plant. In rows of crops such as carrots or beans, space them every 12 inches down the line. For bigger plants like tomatoes, squash, or peppers, deploy 2 pieces per plant, placed on either side of the root area. The ideal moment is right at transplanting or in the first week after seeds sprout. You're setting up the chemical conditions in the soil before pests can establish themselves. Refresh the setup every 6 to 8 weeks throughout the season as the wood breaks down and its potent elements fade. Keep watering your garden as usual. That's the key to fueling the breakdown and transporting the tannins and other compounds to the roots. No additional steps required. Nature handles the rest from there. This distills 3 centuries of hard-earned insights into just a few hours of effort. And here's the crucial point. Each time this technique spreads, when a gardener shares it with a friend, snaps a photo of the steps for a neighbor, or chooses old oak over store-bought sprays, a vital tradition dodges extinction for another year. That's no trivial achievement. For decades, the agrochemical giants poured billions into crafting a world where you're hooked on their products, convinced that farming demands fancy purchases, that ancient methods were crude, and modern chemicals are essential. The Amish rejected that narrative outright. So did traditional farmers across countless cultures, sustaining this wisdom without ads or lab studies. By passing it to someone who tends a garden, you're fueling a legacy no company can own and no tech can erase. A chain of knowledge handed hand to hand, just as it has endured for 300 years. Drive a stick into your ground this year. Observe what pests fail to do to your crops, then pass the word along.